Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Today, I will mostly be doing requests. We're going to start off with Bitcoin, though. If you do have a request, please put it in the Discord channel that I shared. I don't have a lot of time today, but I really wanted to do this actual live stream because a lot is going on right now. And, it's nice to have it covered. So, in short, it's nothing very interesting, nothing complicated. I feel as though Bitcoin is currently creating a wedge, CQ, perhaps, and it remains to be seen, a ascending triangle, which is what we possibly could be having going on right here, which means that, as far as I'm concerned, we're going to have to retest support, which brings us to the larger perspective. I'm currently on the logarithmic scale, for people that didn't notice. As far as I'm concerned, there could be two scenarios here. Either we're going to break topside of this ascending triangle, CQ, and this really remains to be seen. Wedge, and I believe that if we break topside, we could pretty much reasonably aim for 5300, which would be the first target, or 7026, which would be the second target. And these are based on Fibonacci sequences. I'll just remove them for now. However, there is, of course, the possibility of a break to the downside. Now, if this happens, please excuse me, a little bit of cold recently. If this happens, things are gonna look pretty much less pretty. And to get a target, we're probably gonna have to go to the linear scale. If we break to the downside here, we're gonna have to look at the larger perspective, which means 1 week charts based on Bitstamp charts, because Bitstamp goes back way further than most of the other exchanges. Now, if we do break to the downside, log on, just for convenience. It's very simple. If we do break to the downside here, I expect that we will retest the previous high, which would basically mean that if this pattern here, this ascending triangle or wedge gives way and we continue down, Bitcoin could go as low as 1100, 1500, something like that. In any regard, it could be pretty nasty. And, this is nothing special. In my opinion, the more mature Bitcoin is going to get, the longer the cycles are going to take. And in a way, and let me just grab the proper chart here. I'd really like to show you this, and this chart was actually created by a friend of mine. And I'm using it because I believe it is more clear than the one I created. And his name is Lion Trader. He is a mentor in Crypto Campus, and I really value his opinion. And this is what we could possibly be looking at if we do create a downwards move here. Um, in any aspect, markets, when they first emerge, are very volatile. They make massive moves, and as they mature, the moves are going to be slower and they are going to be less violent. That being said, I believe there is a lot of growth potential for Bitcoin, and this is called a logarithmic growth chart. It's nonlinear, and in worst case scenario, we're going to go down to these lows here of about 2500 to 1100, and then we're going to continue up to 100 grand, 200 grand. That's basically my worst case scenario for the short term. Just for the short term, that would be pretty bad. Nobody would make a lot of profit, and it would still be a bear market, which would be quite severe. My best case scenario is as follows. Let me grab my, where did I leave it? Where did I leave it? That's the question right there. of course, there. The best case scenario would be as follows. We're going to continue sideways for at least another half a year, give or take a few ups and downs, after which we pretty much could, I won't say would, could continue the linear growth that we've got going on right here. And this scenario, let me just grab my date and price range, would mean that we have at least half a year of accumulation left, a little bit shorter. Let me just get this right. 200 days. That being said, for Bitcoin, this would be okay. Just some sideways action. Nobody's really against that, in my opinion. But for alts, this would actually be a good scenario, because if we go to a couple of alts, we're just going to go to the 4-hour chart. If we look at a couple of alts here, Cardano, for example, it made a massive head and shoulders. It broke out. It's now doing a retest. In my opinion, that's what I am personally thinking. We got to retest this broken head and shoulders. After which, logically, and in my opinion, naturally, unless I'm wrong, it should continue to some decent heights of 2,500. If we look at ZRX, paired against Bitcoin, same story. And let me just grab a decent exchange for this one. ZRX on Binance. In a way, this is the exact same pattern that Cardano made. We had a actual shoulder, a head, and a shoulder. Roughly, could actually drawn it like this, but anyway, head and shoulders pattern. If this actually perseveres, of which I wouldn't be surprised, we're going to have to look for a target, which I'm going to do on the 1 week chart. Actually, let me grab the 1 day chart. The 1 day chart, there we go. And the target could reasonably be, and this is a safe game, I'm playing it safe because we're still in the bear market, but the actual target could be 0.000096 or 9,624 satoshis. If we go further, BNB paired against Bitcoin, it's been doing pretty well. In fact, it's breaking all-time highs, and honestly, I can make a prediction here. Trend-based Fibonacci extension. The trend was up, then we went down, and my personal prediction for BNB is about 0.005 based on Fibonacci. Of course, I could be totally wrong, but this is uncharted areas. But what I'm trying to say here, BNB is doing pretty well. Let's continue. What should we take? EOS. Right against the dollar. If we take EOS and we draw our current trend line, which would be basically this. Let me just get this off the log scale because it doesn't really make a lot of sense. There we go. Anyway, EOS completely broke the actual downtrend here. I expect a lot of resistance on the, $4.5, $5 area. Nonetheless, it's doing pretty well. And I could go on like this for hours, but really what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say, let's put it that way, is that if Bitcoin is going to go and flatline for the next half a year, that's an actual good thing for most of the alts. And so, naturally, there will be a lot of opportunities for, for altcoins, for alt trades, and the likes. Let me just grab my Discord here, because I do want to move on. Chart requests. We have a lot of requests. If you have a request, please go to my Discord. Link is in the description, and I will try to, treat it the best way I can. One condition, it has to be on TradingView for now. We're gonna start off with LBC on Bittrex. Let me see if there's any larger exchange. Poloniex. No, we're gonna go on Bittrex. And this is gonna be educational, but most people in crypto, they are looking for the relative strength index, RSI, MACD, whatever. Well, really the only thing you should be looking at, especially for mid caps, is the unbalanced volume. And the reason that I'm saying this, especially on coins that have a very small market cap, is because the unbalanced volume, will tell you whether coins are moving into the market or out of the market. So are people buying or selling? And people can manipulate the chart all they want. I'm not gonna deny it, it happens. But the unbalanced volume will tell you which way the coins are moving. And currently, according to the OBV, on library credits, they are moving out of the market. So that brings us to the next phase, technical analysis. You know, in my opinion, I could draw many, many trend lines here. All of them will probably not matter, because this is a flatline coin. Um, so what this means is that for some reason, I don't know why, could be coincidence, could be a whale, whatever, coins are moving out of the market because they're being bought up. And the way to make a trade like this is very simple. If you believe that, this is in an actual accumulation phase, and if you believe that this could be valuable someday, um, create a position. Just take your time, buy up slowly, create a position. And I would say a solid breakout would be if this actual trend line gives way, you're going to be at fault if the bottom gives way. So that could produce the actual following position. We're going to take our Fibonacci, throw it over the chart, take our long tool. Our target should be at the first fib, and our stop should be just below the actual low. If we do this, we're going to get a RNR of 3.2, which is pretty good. And this could be a trade that you might want to take, And this is based purely on TA, because I don't treat FAs in my live streams. It takes up way too much time. I'm not an expert in crypto FA, and in my opinion, crypto FA doesn't really exist. So this is what I personally would be looking at. So this was a request by Dutchy. Mr. Moop is requesting Nano. Nano was pretty popular when it just came out. I do remember all the hype, but it just never turned out to be a really solid investment. That being said, it is a good coin and nothing wrong with it. Let's see if there's an actual exchange with more background info. NANO. This is pretty much it. Go to the daily chart. For Nano, is there any reason to be bullish about this? I'm gonna draw my fib. If you look at the unbalanced volume, it's pretty flat. No reason to be excited there. And if we're gonna draw our horizontal support, there's not really a reason to be super excited. If I were to take a position into this, assuming you're excited about this coin, I would put my target at the first fib, just for No reason at all, to be honest. Put my stop just below support. So if it breaks down, you're pretty much going to be safe. And I wouldn't risk too much money in this position, to be honest. KMD. KMD is something that I actually am excited about. Um, it's one of those projects that just continue working, even though they might not have the best luck in price development. Um, they just go at it, and eventually that is what will get rewarded. Um, it's definitely in my long-term backs, don't get me wrong, but we're now gonna see if this is a good trade or no, in my opinion. First of all, unbalanced volume looks great. Seems like some solid accumulation there. I think the one problem is gonna be to breach this support that KMD has set. Sadly, KMD broke below the actual support. I wouldn't really take a trade on this instrument unless it manages to break above. And if it happens, you know, let us just draw our fib. I would actually aim for the 618, which is reasonable, and put my stop just below support, which would give it an R&R of about 7, which is good. So in my opinion, I like it, but it's not something I would be particularly excited about. Last but not least, Ethereum. Gonna activate the logarithmic scale. And in my opinion, Ethereum is desperately trying to break out here. You can see that it's been fighting with this actual resistance for a pretty good time. And if it manages to break out, I would aim for 0.06. But in the end, it's all gonna depend on Bitcoin for pretty much for all the positions that I've just notified you guys about. You know, if we go to the 4-hour chart, it's pretty simple, it's not complicated. There's going to be a wedge, and the direction that we break out of is going to be instrumental for the following days. So I will keep you guys updated, at least on that part of things. And make sure to join my Discord because I usually post more updates in Discord than I do on Twitter. And if you're interested in crypto, if you're interested in trading, feel free to come and have a chat with us. We're pretty much around every day. And we're, it's pretty much a family. So it's a lot of fun. It's also pretty serious because money is at stake. But these are my thoughts for the following days. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to send me a DM. I'll be here. So that's it for today. I'm gonna have a busy day tomorrow, so I'm pretty much gonna have to quit now. I hope you guys have a good day and good night.